Hey guys, I'm here to talk about white pine, and you can hear in the background a squirrel who probably ate a lot of these pine nuts and is giving a little bit of an alarm call. He does not like it that we're here. We're going to talk about white pine anyway. This is the tree right behind me. This is a really big one, and as you can see, the bark is a lot less indented and rough than Douglas fir. If I walk over here, we got the classic Douglas fir back here, and there's big gashes in it. It's really thick. It's got a lot of topography. Whereas the white pine, especially on the older trees, is a lot more smooth. This is a white pine bough, and one of the ways that I identify white pine is that the bark, not on the trunk, but the bark of the branches can be pretty smooth and a little bit white. And then the bark itself, I peeled off just a little bit. If you guys want to see, it actually smells like tropical fruit, and it's got resin already escaping where I cut it, and that gets real sticky. So careful when you're peeling bark off of this kind of thing, because you'll get your hands super sticky, and it needs like oil or alcohol to get off. So but white pine bark is used as medicine. You can make a tincture, you can make a cordial, you can make a syrup. It is pretty strong, so you want to not do too much of it. And pine bark in general, like pine resin, pine needles, pine bark, is usually used for coughs and respiratory complaints. We know this is white pine because it's got the elongated cones, and then it's also got groups of 5 needles. So it's got little packets, and then as you can see, let's see if I can fan these out for you guys. It's got 5 needles that are joined at the base with something that's called a fascicle. Ponderosa pine, just for reference, has 3 needles per fascicle, and then lodgepole, also known as shore pine, is going to have 2 needles per fascicle. And those are kind of the 3 major pine trees in Washington. White pine is my favorite to use for medicine because it smells so good. So you can harvest the needles. This one fell off the tree, so you can harvest the bark. The needles are going to be less likely to, like, the bark can be really warming. The resin is a little bit irritating to the body, which is why it's healing, but it can be a little much. So the needles are a better way, I think, to take this particular herb. White pine trees are a little less common than some of the other coniferous trees in Washington, and the reason for that is that the white pine bark, what's it called? Help me out. Blister rust. White pine bark, or the white pine blister rust, took a bunch of them out in the 60s and 70s, so the population declined quite a bit. And the Forest Service is apparently breeding ones that are resilient to that disease. And so they're planting those, and so there are trees out there that are healthier, but big population decline on that one. And that's common, especially in a time of changing climate, for tree diseases to get more prevalent and kind of like reduce the population in an area. So that's white pine. Enjoy going out and finding it and harvesting it, and don't chop them down.